All right, so now we're going to talk about what's called different quotient. Don't be scared about the name. I'm going to go over it with you. So before we look at example, let's go back to algebra 1 more. You're like, yes, thank you. When I was smart, you were so smart. Okay, so in algebra 1, this one was, x1, y1, and that one was x2 and y2. How do you find the slope between 2 points? Yeah, m equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember this thing? Yeah. So that's what we're going to do, except instead of using x1, x2, y1, y2, we're going to use different letters. So let's do one at a time. Let's say this point right here has a x value of literally x and y value of f of x. So instead of using y, we're just going to use y1, we're going to use f of x. So this point has a value of x comma f of x. Are you guys good so far? Yeah, all right. What about the second point? Instead of that being x2 comma y2, we're going to do something else. We're going to add h to this x value. So for example, let's say x was 2, okay? And I want next x2 to be 5. That means h is going to be 3, because 2 plus 3 is 5. Good so far? So this point has an x value of x plus h. And instead of y2, it's going to have a y value of f of x plus h. I mean, notation-wise, it should make sense to you. I mean, it's a little confusing, but whatever. So how do I find the slope of these 2 points? Well, m equal to, it's always y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equal to, let's plug it in, that fits in this situation. What's the y2 value here? F of x plus h, right? What's the y1 value? F of x. Over, what's the x2 value? X plus h minus, what's the x1 value? X. Are you following? If you lost me, watch this again, this part again, okay? Well, not what I'm about to say, but what I just said a minute ago. So let's go ahead and simplify this. F of x plus h minus f of x over x plus h minus x, boop, boop. I just get x by itself. So this right here is called different quotient. So it's like a formula for you, okay? And it's going to work for any case. It does not have to be linear. It does not have to be quadratic. It's going to work for any function that we have. That's why it's so beautiful here. The reason why we're learning this is because this is going to be very important in calculus. Obviously, you're not in calculus class. We're just going to dip our toe into this a little bit and then take it out. Okay? So that formula, let's write it one more time. How do you find it? F of x plus h minus f of x over h. So let's look at the example. Find the difference quotient for the function f of x, 2x minus 5. So how do you do it? Well, we're going to do f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Are you good so far? All right, so first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and find f of x plus h. So how do I find it? Well, if you remember, I can read this as f of input is equal to 2 times input minus 5, right? So wherever the x is, that's going to be my input. Do you agree with that? We did that in algebra 2. So if that was like a star here, how do I find f of star? 2 times star minus 5. How do I find f of blah equal to 2 times blah minus 5? So how do I find f of x plus h? 2 times x plus h minus 5. So 2 times x plus h minus 5. That's how you find f of x plus h. Now, then let's go ahead and find minus, what's f of x? Well, it's just going to be 2x minus 5 divided by h. We're going to go ahead and simplify it, distribute it. 2x plus 2h minus 5. Distribute this negative inside. Negative 2x plus 5 over h. 2x disappear, 5 disappear. 2h over h cancels out. Answer is equal to 2. So what does that mean? That means no matter what we're doing, the slope between 2 points is always going to be 2, which makes sense because they're linear. Linear align with the slope always going to be 2. So does it kind of make sense? Yes. All right, let's do one more example. Now we're going to look at different types of function, the quadratic. So let f of x be x squared plus 3. Find a different quotient for f of x. So let's find the formula first. F of x plus h minus f of x over h is how you find the different quotient. What is f of x plus h? Let me do it in the pink. So instead of x, we're going to put x plus h in it. To the following, x plus h squared plus 3, right? Because that's where input goes in. So input square plus 3. Input square plus 3. Are you good so far? Yeah? All right, now minus f of x. What's the f of x? The whole thing, x squared plus 3 divided by h equal to, there are lots of simplification to do, so let's go ahead and do it. How do you find x plus h squared? Some of you just want to distribute square in it. That's like a worst crime you can do. Well, there's worse thing, but then what should you do? You need to write it out twice. X plus h times x plus h. Distribute it. Combine the like terms to get x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 3. Distribute negative in. Minus x squared minus 3h equal to, combine the like terms. Let's see, what can I combine? Cancel x squared out. So I get h squared plus 2hx. 3 disappear over h. I can factor h out from the top. Cancel h out to get answer h plus 2x. Whew, how was that? Yeah, that wasn't that bad. One thing you have to remember is that your denominator cannot be equal to 0, right? Since we're doing the quotient, so don't forget to say h cannot be equal to 0. So answer is h plus 2x, where h is not equal to 0. All right, so you're like, okay, all right, let me just breathe a little bit. Fine. What is the slope of a secant line of f of x using the x coordinate -1 and 3? So this is going to be helpful for some of your visual learner. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to graph x squared plus 3. How do I graph it? That's a quadratic function shifted 3 up. So vertex at 0, 3, and it's going to look like this, wouldn't it? There's going to be a point at -1, 4. There's going to be a point at 3, 12. So this question is asking you, what is the slope of secant line using x coordinate -1 and 3, these 2 points? Well, here's the thing. You should be able to figure this out without graphing this. But why am I graphing it? I'm going to verify with you after I do this problem why that answer was correct. So how do I find between -1 and 3? We're going to use the answer for the first one over here, but let's go ahead and find what the x value is and what is the h value. Okay, all right. My x1 is -1 and my x2 is 3 if you remember algebra 1, but we're not using x. We're not using x1 and x2. We are using x and x plus h. So my x value is -1, as you can see, and my x plus h value is 3. So if x is -1, what's h? H is going to be 4. Now, we're going to plug it into this answer we got on letter A, different quotient. We got h plus 2x, so h plus 2x. I get 4 minus 2 equal to 2. So according to that little formula, we got the secant slope between -1 and 3 is 2. Oops, sorry, you can see. Let's verify it. Okay, these two. I already graphed it, so this is verify. All right, good old x2 minus x1 over y2 minus y1. I got 2, 2. So this formula is beautiful. The difference quotient is beautiful because it works for any cases. It does not have to be linear. It works for any cases. All you have to do is just plug it in to find the correct answer. Okay? All right. Thank you for watching this video. Please do the next Delta Math problem and come up with the answer to ask for the next class. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.